Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Watchers. This is our live stream for August 8th, 2023. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Adrian.
And we got some fun stuff to talk about today. But before we dive in, before we have some fun talking about some topics, Adrian, how have you been over the last week?
I've been good, just continuing on with life. Last time we spoke, I have since seen Taylor Swift, which was a life-changing experience. Been good. How have you been?
Been okay. It was an interesting weekend. Got to watch some interesting movies that were picked out by our viewers this week, which we will get to talk about when we get to the end of the show. And just had a whale of a time looking at every single person apparently in my social sphere went to those concerts in LA to see Taylor Swift.
As they should. It was by far the best. I know you're familiar with Alana Pierce. I know she's an influencer that a lot of people are familiar with if you follow online. She's like a big metalhead, and she said that she has never seen a concert as hardcore as the Taylor Swift concert, and she was absolutely blown away by how good it was, having seen Metallica and Slipknot and all these other bands. She also recommended it. So I thought that was just a really resounding kind of alternate genre fan base also enjoying it and respecting it, and it was absolutely incredible. It was worth everything it took to get there.
I mean, I already play Warhammer. I know how to waste money, so it's all good. Or waste vast amounts of money. Anyhow, I'm just messing around. Anyhow,
wasn't a waste. So
how expensive were tickets though? Like, that is ridiculous how expensive those tickets are for that show.
$670.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I can't say anything about Taylor Swift. Not a fan. Don't really listen to her. I'm not going to say she's bad because she's not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the tickets are just ridiculously priced. But I'm sure I don't go to a lot of concerts, so maybe that's the norm. I don't know.
No, it's not. They were definitely. I got that. What I paid was a really good deal on tickets. Normally they were going for $1,500 a piece.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'll tell you though, life-changing experience.
I know the federal government put in like standards for Ticketmaster because of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they've also contributed this tour to pushing back our debt ceiling and prolonging us hitting the debt wall. She's now on the actual treasury list of things that have impacted. In Seattle, the fans registered 2.3 earthquakes, and she just tipped every single person on her tour that's working it a total of $55 million.
Jeez Louise. Anyhow, you wouldn't even believe this live stream's about movies.
Well, they're making a movie, actually. I might be in it. In LA, they're filming the movie for Netflix, so we may be in it. You might see us.
We got Zach here saying Swiftie Gang. That's completely different. I think you meant Swiftie Gang. This is actually a Pornhub category that Zach's been sharing with us, but thank you for that. Danelle, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you too, Danelle.
Happy Tuesday.
Hope you're having a wonderful week so far. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump into our major news stories this week. And it's about time. It finally happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbie crossed the $1 billion box office mark. Everyone give a round of applause. There's no sound effects in here. We got to put in like an applause sound effect. But not surprising. This movie has been making a shit ton of money every day. And it was only a matter of time until it hit $1 billion. Who knows where it's going to end, honestly. It's been 3 weeks and it's still the top of the box office.
Yeah.
So, not a whole lot else to say about it, really, but it hit $1 billion. Congrats to Greta Gerwig. Her fourth film is $1 billion at the box office.
Huge.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Gigantic. And I know I did see Mattel came out with Weird Barbie as a doll, so you can now buy that if you want.
You can now get Kate McKinnon in your house.
In other news, I'm super excited about the Talk to Me 2 sequel is already announced. They had a great logo for it with the hand and everything. Based off the first one, I cannot wait. There's so much opportunity to have almost like a multiverse type story to this one, especially how the ending is. So I'm totally excited to see what they do with the second film. I think it could literally be another country. I mean, it could be anywhere. They can do anything with it. So I'm really excited.
They really could do anything with it from what I've seen, what I've heard. I'm hoping to actually go and see the movie this week. But it's also announced, I wanted to kind of add this on. They did shoot an entire prequel that concerning the kid at the beginning of the movie. That's all I know. There is an entire prequel movie that they have shot. Not a whole film. It's probably like a 20-minute short film, but it's done in a way that's never been done before. That's all they've said. So some pretty exciting stuff if you're a fan of Talk to Me. Got a lot going up to with the Philippou brothers. So some more unfortunate news this week, as both legendary director William Friedkin and actor Mike Margolyes have both passed away. William Friedkin, of course, being known for directing The Exorcist, the original film, and The French Connection, among others. And Mark Margolyes being in a bunch of movies, always kind of playing some very sleazy people, but most well known for being in Better Call Saul. I believe he was also in Breaking Bad as I believe the character Hector, and various different movie roles. Yeah. Unfortunately, he passed away. So, some unfortunate news to share.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Moving right along, rumors circulate the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is going to be about 3 hours long, which I'm never one to shy away from a long movie. I think if that's how long it takes for the story to be told, then I'm always down for it. This one does seem a bit egregious. Again, I'm not a huge Five Nights at Freddy's game player, so I don't know like how much story there is. I do know there's a lot of lore between all the games, so I guess there could be a lot of explanation going on, but I don't know, 3 hours for a video game movie does seem like we're taking a leap into risky territory.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I'm looking on IMDb, and it looks like there's no information as far as official length yet. This is just rumors that are circulating. No one's actually seen the film yet, but if it is 3 hours long, oh boy, people are going to be there for a while.
3 hours?
So, that's in fact a lot of time. Next up, though, speaking of a lot of time, probably will take until you actually get this. The live-action How to Train Your Dragon film has been delayed by the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. Forgot to actually put this in as a story this week, but we'll go ahead and just share it here. The Writers Guild did actually meet with the AMPTP, and it was not a productive meeting. So the strikes are ongoing.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the How to Train Your Dragon film, the live-action one, has been pushed away. We were hoping this might be pretty good, but it's going to be a while till we see it.
Yeah. And for all you Disney fans that didn't get a chance to head to the theater, like myself, to see the Little Mermaid remake that I've heard is very good, it will be hitting Disney Plus on September 6th, so beginning of next month. So if you didn't get a chance to catch it, you can make sure to go ahead and check it out there. It'll be free streaming. So there you go.
Free as long as you pay for Disney Plus, which is, I feel like most people have Disney Plus anyway. Moving along, getting back into Talk to Me. Talk to Me has been banned in Kuwait, which is interesting. It's not banned for the reason you would think. The film has been banned because it has an actor in it, a performer who is transgender. This is not specified at all in the film. It is not a plot point. It is not part of the story. It makes no difference to the character whatsoever, but the film has been banned because of this performer, which this is the first film in history to be done so for that reason. It's a kind of a shameful thing to happen.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't come up at all. So I didn't know that until I read this headline.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't have known. It's not like a film, getting banned for like themes or a story or something. This is because of something that has nothing to do with the film itself.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
And speaking of horror films, kind of, James Wan is recovering after a trip to the hospital. I'm not sure on what exactly happened, but at least in recovery is a good sign.
Nothing has been shared as to why James Wan was in the hospital. We just know that it was a scary period of time, but he is okay and he is on the mend, which we're obviously glad to hear. James Wan is a very talented director, our friend Nadia's favorite director. So that would have been very bad if we were reporting that next to William Friedkin this week. Next up, though, speaking of synonymous directors, Asteroid City, the new Wes Anderson film, will be hitting Peacock this Friday. So if you didn't get to go see it in theaters, you can watch it on Peacock, which I will be doing on Friday. I have my Friday night plans. So, hey, if you're calling me on Friday, that's why you can't reach me. As everyone in this chat is fair to do, I guess. I'm not sharing my number, though.
In other news, Vanessa Kirby is reportedly playing Sue Storm in Fantastic Four, another casting announcement, or like a soft announcement, I guess. I'm not ultra familiar, but I feel like at this point, I'm just waiting for an actual final list to come out. I feel like there's a lot of reportedlies with this movie. So I guess we will wait and see.
Yeah, obviously no casting is done yet. The Actors Guild is still on strike. Vanessa Kirby is known for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and Mission Impossible Fallout. She played the White Widow.
Oh.
She was also in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. She played Hattie, which is the sister of Jason Statham.
Sure.
And a couple other films, including The Crown recently, which is a show, not a film. But popular actress, she is going to be up also in the upcoming Napoleon film as Napoleon's wife.
Ridley Scott, nice.
So, back to the topic of horror movies. A lot of horror news this week. Final Destination 6 is reportedly ready to start filming as soon as the strikes are over. So it's actually really, this is kind of a positive piece of news about the strikes. It's not a movie being delayed. It's that a film's like, all right, as soon as they're done, we're going. And that's going to be good because that's going to get people their jobs back. And it's kind of some just positive news to share.
That's also just a fun one to go back to theaters with after the strike if they can get it pumped out quickly. That's kind of a good return to a classic. So I'd be really excited to go see that.
Use this time to do some practical blood effects and get them ready and not do some CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be great.
And speaking of not doing CGI, Wonder Woman 3 is in development with Gal Gadot, and I'm hoping we don't get some really bad CGI in this one. Like the last one, I hope they get a little more grounded. The first one's excellent. Second one was a pretty big miss. I'm hoping we can reel it back in with this third one. But she's a great Wonder Woman, so I have no problems against her. It's more like the films themselves, that like the scripts and everything, that kind of lead it awry. So I have a lot of hope for this.
Just interested to see if this is going to be a part of the new DCU or if it is going to be an Elseworlds film, which is what they're calling the films that are not part of the DCU. Because a lot of various rules that were set in place by James Gunn are being broken by this. So I don't know if this is Elseworlds or not. So,
which is also to me just a recipe for disaster, to be like, all right, we're going to really focus on the DCU. And we'll also have other films that aren't involved. Like, it just seems
that covers films like Joker and The Batman with Robert Pattinson, which are not part of the DCU, but they're still being made.
Totally.
It's basically James Gunn was like, we want to give the filmmakers a chance to make the movie that they want to, regardless of the DCU. So if someone comes with a good script, then they would go ahead and just make it.
Yes, but that's what, to me, that really is going to put a halt on how good the DCU could possibly be, because we're also just doing other films that could be better. Like, why would I watch a Wonder Woman if Wonder Woman 3 is excellent? Why would I watch the other Wonder Woman that's been put it if it's a worse film? So it just seems like it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely an interesting experiment. Next up, speaking of threes, Sonic 3 is set to begin filming without actors during the strike.
Makes sense.
I don't know what they're going to do.
No, well, you can do a lot of the on-set shoots where it's just Sonic talking, or talking to Tails or Knuckles.
True. You also have your first or second unit photography, which is just a lot of helicopter flyovers and things like that. Yeah,
you can definitely you can get about 6 months worth of production done without anybody being on set. So I'd imagine that's what they're doing, is getting all that ready.
Very true.
And last but not least for the news this week, early Gran Turismo reviews are mixed, with 47 being reported on Metacritic and a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, Rotten Tomatoes meaning that 59% of people rated it a 60% or higher, meaning that 59% of people liked the film. But the 47 on Metacritic is saying it's basically a very mid film, coming in right in the middle of the spectrum.
To be fair, this does not have a lot of reviews at the moment. It's about 13 reviews, and usually films will have about 59 to 60 that are a major release like this. So we still have some time. The score might go up. I've seen a couple of reviews that were, or down. I've seen a couple of reviews that said that it was just kind of very mediocre, but there's a couple of reviews that were also giving a 9 out of 10. So no idea, honestly. But that is it for the news stories this week. Let's go ahead and take a dip into the comments section. Shout out to the Elmer's glue in the background, G. Interesting lube technique.
You have it on display.
Well, that's actually our sponsor for this week. No, I'm just kidding. Elmer's doesn't sponsor this kind of stuff.
Talking about that, for the Taylor Swift concert, Cass had glued some flowers in her hair and some sparkles on her cheeks and hands. And we were in the hotel room, and she goes, "Can you look up if I can bring Elmer's glue into the stadium?" And I went, "No one's ever looked that up. Like, that's not on the list of weapons you can and cannot bring into the stadium." Long story short, she absolutely snuck it in. We had a tube of Elmer's glue in the stadium.
Hey, well, if you ever want to sit there and huff Elmer's glue, which doesn't do anything, then there you go. This is actually wood glue. I use this for hobbying, so that's why it's in the background. But
great distinction.
Great
in case anyone was worried.
Yeah, I'm definitely not using that as lube. Joey, I spy a cat.
There was one here. It is gone now.
It's been banished to the shadow realm. Kevin, hey, there's the co-host of our brand new show here on Real Watchers. If you have not checked it out yet, Real Watchers Movie Club, co-hosted by our good friend Toxic.
It's real fun. They did Jurassic Park. Good conversation. You should check it out.
Jurassic Park. We have a new episode coming out this Friday, which is Back to the Future. So look out for that one. Next up, Joey. I want a Pattinson Batman to meet Joaquin Joker. Don't know if it's possible just because of the time differences. The Batman takes place in sort of a more modern society, whereas Joker takes place in the 70s. So it'd be interesting to see if they could mix it.
Back to the other point, are they going to allow elsewhere films to have their own elsewhere universe? Where they that? It just seems like we're approaching a recipe for too much convolution within a core canon plot line.
Yeah,
I would love to see that too. And of course, again, with elsewhere movies, you can time travel, you could skip time. There's all kinds of stuff they could do. So who knows? I would love to see it though.
There's also the possibility of a Crisis on Infinite Earths story again, where you get multiverses having to fight for the one, whatever thing. Zach Sanders, that approach to the DCU versus other projects, it seems like DC trying to have their cake and eat it too. Got to be superb marketers to get your arms around everything, which DC is very hit and miss.
100% best comment so far about this. That is exactly it. Can't do it all. And if you're trying to, like Marvel did during their peak, it takes the largest team on earth to make sure that you can do that, all operating at their absolute peak. And I don't think the DCU can do that.
True. But I will say that the Elseworlds films, which are Joker, the Batman, these other films, have been better than the DC universe that's been existing already. So I think it is still smart to keep them going, though, because they're the ones that are getting Oscar nominations. They're the ones that are getting attention. Justice League wasn't getting into, an Oscar for Jared Leto for playing the Joker like Joaquin did.
But I feel like then why have the DCU? If those are your successful bread and butter now, let's just focus on one-off films. Don't try to build this thing that's failed 5 times.
Yep.
That's where I think the having your cake and eat it too, as Zach said, really comes in. Is you already have this thing working. Now you're trying to do this again. And it just feels like a waste.
100%. But yes, that is going to be it for those comments. Moving right along. There were a lot of trailers that came out this week. And unfortunately, not all of them were very memorable.
Not any of them, really.
were there any that stood out to you, Adrian?
Yeah, the one that I think just based off the cast was All Fun and Games. I think Asa Butterfield from Ender's Game. I've only seen 2 movies with him in it, but he at least caught my attention. Then also having, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name right. Dryers, the girl from Stranger Things.
Natalia
Dyers, yeah. And she's in it too, so cool to see her getting a bigger role. That's kind of the only one that I was like, oh, I actually know some of the people in this. I'll check that out. Or at least I know them and it looks reasonable. It looks like a fun, scary slasher film. So that's my pick.
For sure. Honestly, before I saw one of the trailers on here, I was going to say Slaughterhouse was the only one that stood out, but for all the wrong reasons, as it looks like it's going to be another kind of Sharknado type film about a sloth killing people. But I did watch the trailer for Mononoke, which is not tied to Princess Mononoke, the film by Hayao Miyazaki. This actually looks like one of the most inventive and unique looking anime films I've seen probably ever. So it should be interesting if we actually get it here in the States to see what it looks like.
The trailer kept reminding me of like stained glass almost. Like every frame just felt like a stained glass image. It was really cool.
Or those like cultural paintings from Japan where like you'd see them like on the wall where they're like very large.
Yeah.
Really what it reminds me of. But that is it for the trailers that came out this week. Zach, one more comment. Why have DCU and Batman, the newly trademarked by your boy, isn't going to be involved? Because Warner Brothers needs money. That's the only answer I got for you. And they own the property and they're going to push it.
And they've taken the wrong approach like that every single time. They just make things because they need the quick cash, and they make a movie that is a cash grab, and everyone gets really bummed about it, and then it just continues to spiral. They just don't have someone in place to stop that spiral from happening.
Yes, but hopefully, because James Gunn is a big DC fan. He's bigger of a DC fan than he is a Marvel fan, and so I think him being in the reins and controlling the creative direction, I think, hopefully, will spell some success. But that's hopefully.
Yeah.
Very key word there. Alrighty, moving right along into the parts where I get to talk about the movies where I've seen in the last week, and I didn't get to watch as many this week, but I will go ahead and talk about what I did watch. First up, I rewatched Captain America: The Winter Soldier from 2014, giving it a 88 out of 100. It said Marvel's attempt at a more restrained and thriller-esque film is a really great ride from beginning to end. It's got some of the better performances in an MCU film, and this truly felt like the point where Chris Evans became the character. Really enjoyed this movie. It is able to stream on Disney+. Next up was Ex Machina, a film that I absolutely love. Ex Machina is a beautifully shot, paced, and executed film. The performances are great, and the visual effects are extraordinary. However, my favorite part is that the film doesn't demonize AI, but shows that all parties involved may be the ones to blame. Very much enjoyed this movie. Should be available on a couple of different sources. After that, watch the action masterpiece that is Mad Max Fury Road from 2015, giving it a 99 out of 100. Fury Road is so expertly crafted, written, filmed, and performed that you'll forget you're watching a franchise film. It truly rises above the franchise to become an action masterpiece and thoroughly deserves the attention it receives. Mad Max Fury Road is a really good fucking movie if you haven't seen it. And finally, I watched the brand new Transformers Rise of the Beasts today, actually, before this live stream. And while it is getting a 52 out of 100, it is certainly better than a lot of the Michael Bay films. It still feels written by committee and not with the intent to tell a meaningful story, though. It's a little boring, all things considered, but the robot action is decent, and the reveal at the end is incredible. If they stay true to the ending and continue the idea, I will be on board for the next one.
Interesting. I have not seen it. That makes me want to go check it out.
Honestly, the entire movie was worth it for what happens at the end. Which, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it. If you want to check it out, the movie's now on Paramount Plus. It's an exclusive because Paramount owns Transformers. Yeah, it's there and available for you to check out. So, but we got a comment that came in. Boys excited for the Furiosa movie in 2024. Yes.
Yep.
Very much so. Anya Taylor-Joy is one of those. That answers Cassidy's question from last week. Anya Taylor-Joy is an actress that I would have in a movie that I will go in my butts and seat to see.
Very cool. Yeah, because I think you went and saw Northman.
Yep,
and
saw Northman,
The Menu.
The Menu, Super Mario Brothers movie. I didn't go to theaters for that, but I did watch it. But yeah, nice. 100%. Really excited for that because it's the same director too as Fury Road. Very nice. But awesome.
But enough about what you watched last week, as cool as a lot of them were. Let's go ahead and talk about what's coming out this week if you want to head to the theaters. We just have 4 this week, so light week. First, we have Last Voyage of the Demeter, or Demeter, based on a single chapter, The Captain's Log, from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel, Dracula. The story is set aboard a Russian schooner, Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo, 24 unmarked wooden crates. Definitely seems like a cool movie. The poster certainly seems cool. Then we also have Jules. Both of these, the one I just said and this one, are coming out on Friday. Jules follows Milton, who lives a quiet life of routine in a small western Pennsylvania town, but finds his day upended when a UFO and its extraterrestrial passenger crash land in his backyard. This one seems super, like, kind of fun. It looks like one of those old people movies that, like, you get a bunch of famous people in and they just kind of do a good job acting. And that's what this kind of feels like. It feels like a really fun movie. Also coming out on Friday, we have Senior Year, Love Never Fails. Shocker, in this sequel to Freshman Year, CJ and Marcella struggle to protect their relationship against the rising tide of pressure from family, faith, and friends when a devastating discovery upends their lives. This one will be limited, so you might have to travel a bit if you are checking to see it, but it does open on Friday as well. And then last but not least, we have Heart of Stone. This is coming out on Netflix on Friday. This is the new Gal Gadot film, for those of you that are aware. An intelligence operative for a shadowy global peacekeeping agency races to stop a hacker from stealing its most valuable and dangerous weapon. Just based off that, I assume that Gal Gadot is the most dangerous weapon. But I don't know. So that comes out on Netflix. Again, you don't have to go to theaters for that one, but that is a big kind of blockbuster release for Netflix with a big actress in it.
Yeah, I know Heart of Stone was created because Gal Gadot is on record saying that there weren't enough women in action movies, and so she went out to create one that has pretty much all women in it. So
awesome.
Hopefully it lives up to a lot of other action films. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, looking forward to The Last Voyage of the Demeter, though, because I found out there was a recent article I saw that all of the effects, it's not a spoiler to say this, there is a vampire in the film. Whoa. And there are no visual effects used at all. It is all practical effects used on the creature.
So they found a real vampire.
Yeah, they went to Transylvania and dug it up, and they were like, "Hey, you know what? We got some blood for you. Why don't you come on set?
That's
maybe
incredible.
Kill a few extras." And that's what led to it's actually led to the actor strike because they found out that they were sacrificing extras to the vampire.
Wow. All right.
It's canon as of today. But that is it for what came out last weekend, or this weekend. Let's talk about what came out last weekend. I almost said that backwards. No shocker, Barbie stays in first place with $53 million coming in. In second place, we have Meg 2, The Trench, which is getting some pretty horrific reviews. In third place, we have Oppenheimer with $29.1 million hanging in there. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem opening in fourth. Not too far behind Oppenheimer, bringing in $28 million.
It's a tough open, though.
It is a tough open, but I think it has a smaller budget, so it should be able to hopefully make its money back. And in fifth place, Haunted Mansion with $9.2 million. All in all, this is a pretty good weekend for the box office. It's pretty split, 30, 29.1, 28 million between three different movies. And then, obviously, Barbie is still leading it. But, hey, it's a pretty good weekend for the box office. So, nothing wrong with that. Alrighty. And looks like we do have a comment here. Zach Standridge, Gal Gadot probably in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 for movie star actresses.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe for action films and like kind of franchise films. I don't know if she's necessarily the best actress, but she's definitely fun to watch in the films that she's in. Alrighty. Well, for everyone watching, now is the part of the show where you get to submit the films that you would like for me to watch for next week. And
should we do a thing where we switch up the music in this section?
Oh. I don't know what this music is. This is quite different. But this is, of course, the Wheel of Fate, where you get to go ahead and everyone, you can comment a couple of films. This is louder than the other one. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But go ahead and submit any of the films that you would like for me to watch. Adrian will be looking at the comments section for these. So go ahead and start typing in some movies that you would like for me to check out next week. And in the meantime, let me
Everyone immediately started commenting during this.
I love it. But let me go ahead and go over the films that were selected last week and give you my honest reviews of them. So, the first one that won was The 39 Steps from Alfred Hitchcock from 1935. Gave it a 72 out of 100. While it's, excuse me, while it's nowhere near as captivating as his later work, Hitchcock's The 39 Steps is a fun and engaging enough thriller that feels ahead of its time. Unique camera movement and staging make it feel like a 40s or 50s movie, and I definitely had to check the year while I was watching. There's one particular shot in this film where I'll go ahead and bring Adrian for this because it's kind of cool. Hi, bud. Where there is a shot of the car from the side where everyone's inside, and the camera actually pulls out and rotates to the back of the vehicle. And I was like, that was that single moment. I was like, wow, this is really cool for the 50s. And I forgot the movie came out in 1935. This is one of those movies that, like, it's not the most memorable Hitchcock film, but it definitely feels way ahead of its time. It was very interesting. After that, the other one that won was Foxcatcher from 2014, and I gave it a 74 out of 100. Foxcatcher is a performance piece through and through. Of course, Steve Carell's Oscar-nominated performance is incredible, but Channing Tatum is also really, really good here. Probably his best performance of his career. Mark Ruffalo is also wonderful, with a heart and presence that's hard to ignore. Where this film stumbles, though, is in its pacing, which feels inconsistent, and it has an ending which feels a little limp and leaves you wanting more. Definitely not the best ending. I think it could have been handled a lot better. So, and after that, we have My Sister's Keeper from 2009, and I gave it a 20 out of 100. Aside from a few good performances, My Sister's Keeper is an unfocused and near-heartless attempt to mix cancer with family drama. It doesn't know whether to focus on one event or another, and it feels manipulative of its audience. As someone who has dealt with cancer in the family before, obviously not to this level, this felt like Hollywood trying to manipulate you and making the audience cry and not think a little too hard about what's going on. Just didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel heartfelt. It just, yeah. Maybe I was also in a bad mood the day I watched it, but, it just felt like it was trying to manipulate me as the viewer. So, but alrighty.
All right, we'll wait another 30 seconds or so. If you have any last minute submissions, I'll go ahead and take them. Your movie can't be watched. If it's not in the list, I will just let you know. I've already seen 2 on here that I know for a fact that Garrett has already seen. We have Secret Life of Walter Mitty, as well as Dodgeball. So I have excluded those from the list.
Yeah, and I can pull up those real quick and let you know what I think of them. Because we covered Secret Life of Walter Mitty on the podcasts before we did the live stream. Secret Life of Walter Mitty, I gave it a 71, which it was a good film. I wouldn't say it was groundbreaking for me personally, but was still good. And then Dodgeball was the other one, I think. Dodgeball from 2001. Yeah, I do not like Dodgeball personally. I gave it a 25 out of 100. So.
All right, we'll go ahead and close submissions. And I will share my screen. And just is it still showing?
Yep, you see it on the screen.
All right, just to keep it fair, I will shuffle all of the submissions a few times so that it doesn't matter when you sent in your submission. It is equal chance here. Also, everyone take a look at my new wheel. How fun is that, huh? It's
Adrian coded this all himself.
Yeah, don't look at the Google link at all. All right, are we doing 1 or 2 today, Garrett, or 3?
Let's go for 2.
2, all right. And he's spinning the wheel. I love that it landed on that.
You suggested Barnyard. Cassidy. I think Cassidy's won one every week.
We talked about it last week. I am not rigging it. I even shuffled it in front of all of you to make sure it's just how it's happening. I'm not doing anything. All right, and then we'll spin it again. And Joe's submission, Armageddon.
Very, very similar films here.
And let's see who was next, huh? Just for the sake of losing out. who missed it. Danelle, where the crawdads sing, go ahead and submit that next week, and maybe we'll get you in there.
Where is Armageddon streaming on? Hey, it's on Max. Nice. All right, and whoever submitted the Jungle Book, I actually have seen both of them and reviewed both of them. So I can go ahead and pull those up as well here real quick, just so we can get that expectation out in the jungle. So for the 2016 live action, I gave it an 83 out of 100. I really like that film. I think it's probably Disney's best live action remake. Don't quote me on that. And then the 1967 original animated film gave that an 80 out of 100. It's for that one. It uses the art style, which was very sketchy, like hand-drawn kind of sketch style. Not like it's, weird. It's just like it's more sketchy style, and I don't really appreciate that style fully. But other than that, it's a great film. So
very nice,
but a lot of fun. Alrighty, well, before we pop over into the comments and just hang out and chill for a little bit, Adrian, what have you been watching? What have you been doing over the last week? What's been going on?
I haven't really been watching anything. I did just start NCIS today, so that's a new show, I guess. I've mostly just been working, and I am reading, I think I showed this before, the Southern Research Trilogy. It's the book that Annihilation is based on. So I'm about halfway through the first book. This is 3. It's very good. Bit tough at times, but really, really interesting and thought-provoking. But other than that, I mean, I'm just kind of just living life, Like I said, Taylor Swift was I feel like since we last did this, like that Thursday, I left for LA to go to the Taylor Swift concert, and that was like my whole weekend. So it just feels like I didn't really get time to do much. So that's where I'm at.
For sure. I haven't really been watching anything outside the films recently. I did kind of start it's not like an annual thing, but I started rewatching the Boondocks, the animated show. Not Boondock Saints, the Boondocks. Fantastic show. And then I've been playing a lot of Xbox actually recently. Just started playing GTA Online again, which it is good to be back because that is so much fun. Started playing Fall Guys again. Actually, you, Adrian, and I, Adrian, Joey, who's in our chat, and Cassidy, we all played a couple of nights ago, and it was a lot of fun. And then that's pretty much about it. So
simple week.
Simple week. But that is the end of everything we have written and scheduled for the show this week. If anyone has any comments, concerns, criticisms, questions, anything like that, go ahead and get those in here real quick. And Adrian, where can people follow us if they don't already?
Sure. At Real Watchers on Instagram. That's REELWATCHERS. As in a film reel. We're there on Instagram. You can chat with us, send us a message, let us know if you want to watch anything or see anything. If you're watching us right now, you're on YouTube right now probably, or you're live on Twitch. So go ahead and like, subscribe, all those good things. On YouTube, make sure to hit the bell. These go live every single Tuesday, but we also have a ton of additional content. Garrett just started a new series with our good friend Kevin called the Real Watchers Movie Club, where they just did Jurassic Park. And next week, he did announce that they're doing Back to the Future. So make sure to stick around, check that out. That's just more like a casual conversation reviewing a film. If you did listen to the drive back, it's like that, but video format, so you can see everybody's beautiful faces. And so make sure, again, hit the bell, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Real Watchers Movie Club, we're going to be going over some of the best films of all time. Usually every film will be either on the IMDb Top 250 or the Letterboxd Top 250. So these are widely considered the best films of all time, which makes it a little bit more palatable to watch those kind of movies every week, just because you know that they're going to be good most of the time. But also make sure you check out our TikTok. I'm going to have some content coming very soon to that channel. Just you can go to @RealWatchers, kind of similar to how it is here on YouTube. And also YouTube Shorts will be coming very soon. So
very nice.
Definitely get excited for those. All righty. So let's go ahead and get into some comments here. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, you want to joke about my wood glue in the background, go ahead and put it in the comment section below. Cassidy, I own Barnyard. I'll mail it to you, Garrett. Well, It's also on Paramount Plus.
Cass
And
walked so Netflix could run.
You mean Paramount Plus?
No, mailing movies to people.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you were going
There
for the
it
whole
is.
barnyard being available thing. Gotcha. I appreciate it, Cassidy. Kevin, I have a thing we can do next week for the movie club. Have the fans decide. Ooh.
Guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Well, he's saying have the fans decide. What did you have in mind, Kevin?
Well, we could probably not have you talk about a different podcast.
On our show.
On our show.
We could talk about it when we record our next episode. Zach, who's the best utility player in the culture right now? Utility player meaning someone who can move through different mediums and still be a high-level performer.
That's good. I would have said after Dallas Buyers Club, it would have been Jared Leto. I do not feel that way anymore.
No.
I think that there was a time where he was like that triple threat of music, TV, movies, all that stuff. Right now, I feel like it would be Anya Taylor-Joy or Ana de Armas.
True. I was also going to say maybe Pedro Pascal. Moving through
Pedro
different
Pascal, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac for
I feel
sure.
like he could float between.
I'm also going to throw a kind of a weird one out. I'm going to say Lady Gaga.
Sure. I don't know about TV.
Singer and actor, and she was on American Horror Story, and
yeah,
but that's maybe not her like thing. It's more film. I would say she does TV shows for sure. Man, who else? Maybe Tom Hanks, but he doesn't do a lot of stuff that's not movies.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Rebecca Ferguson.
She's in Silo, the TV show, and she's in obviously Dune, and another really big film that I just saw that I can't remember right now.
I'm also she's. Go ahead.
Nope, I forgot what she's in.
I was also going to say Conan O'Brien because he made the switch from TV to podcast. And he's been in a couple of films with like voice performances and stuff. And I feel like he's a pretty consistent, at least for me, if you enjoy Conan O'Brien.
I don't know if that's like a best utility player. Like
I wouldn't, I'm not going to say best. Yeah. I'm just thinking of any utility players at this point. So if I had to say one, it'd probably be Pedro Pascal or Ana de Armas, or not Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. I think those would be my two picks as well.
Mm-hmm. Zach, is it Pedro Pascal? Just said that. Yeah. Trying to think. I had a good question. Okay. So Adrian, what if you were to have any film be remade with a brand new director? Like you're given the unlimited budget to remake a film with the director and cast you want. What would it be, and who would you get?
Ender's Game, and I would probably have Ridley Scott direct it. And as far as who would play Ender, that doesn't really matter. I feel like I'm trying to think of like a teen. Like I feel like it would have been Tom Holland when he started, like that type of person. If I could like have anybody, would be kind of that age and look of a person. But yeah, that would absolutely be the movie I'd want remade. They absolutely did that book so wrong. Oh, and Aragon. I know we're getting one, but let's redo that because that was a disaster too.
Sure. I kind of went a little bit of a different route with mine. I was going to say that there's still one I'm going to say till the day I die, which is we need the live action remake of Atlantis, and we need Tom Holland and Zendaya to be the main actor and actress. And I was trying to think of a director, and I would say Spielberg, just because he's got the experience with Indiana Jones, so the adventure kind of aesthetic kind of fits in. Would be a fun to have him do another movie with Disney, which, I would be down for that. But the one that I will always say, the remake that I want to see so badly is a remake of Lawrence of Arabia. And I would want to see Denis Villeneuve be the director because of how well he did with Dune, although he's probably sick of the desert by now. And I would want to see Michael Fassbender take over for I always forget the name of the actor from Lawrence of Arabia. But
That'd be great.
that's what I would want to see, because Lawrence of Arabia is a perfect film. We covered this in the podcast. You, me, and our guest all gave it a 100. Be very interested to see it done with the technology of today.
Yeah.
So, Zack Stammer's pulling out a big one. Nolan doing the next Star Wars trilogy.
I'd be fine with that announcement. I don't think he would want to.
I don't think he would want to either.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a toxic thing that I just feel like there's no way it goes well. And his success of just doing his own ideas has proven like his bread and butter. So I would be fine with it. Like if they announced that tomorrow, I'd be all on board for the next trilogy. I just don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, and the amount of stuff that he shoots practically and doesn't like using visual effects, don't know if that would work. But it would be a really cool what if, for sure. I know there was a recent interview between him and Robert Downey Jr., and someone asked what if he directed the Avengers, and Robert Downey Jr. was like, we'd still be here filming it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that would be.
I'd be interested if we got like if he did a Star Wars story, maybe like one that didn't have lightsabers and like do a grounded, almost like Rogue One, but like maybe no ships, like just isolated on a planet. Do that story. I could definitely see him picking up something like that, but doing it in his own way, which would be really cool.
Could you imagine an Oppenheimer-like film about the creation of the Death Star?
Like a document, like almost a documentary life. That'd be crazy.
That'd be really funny.
There's
talking
heads. It's like The Office almost of like, so there I was building.
I do know that Nolan has stated that he would be honored and would be very excited to do the next James Bond movie, which would be cool. Crazy.
if it's him and Idris Elba, insane movie.
100%. Zack Stanrich, Peele doing the next Aliens.
I don't see it.
Unfortunately, I don't see it either. I would almost rather him do, like, it's not going to happen, but I feel like Jordan Peele could do a remake of Blazing Saddles with the right cast.
I think Peele is doing the best thing, which is showing that he does what he wants in such a variety of genres and styles that I don't think he would do like another. It might be like horror-esque, but I feel like Aliens is such a name brand thing that I think that he would. I'd love to see him do an Alien movie again, like of an extraterrestrial, but I don't necessarily see him attaching himself to a franchise like that at this point.
And he has also said that he will only do original films, so he has no interest in doing any kind of remakes or franchises or anything. So, but well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Make sure if you have a comment, get them in. We're reaching the end of our live stream here. It's been a pleasure having you along the ride with us. But that was fun. That was fun to talk about. I always love talking about like the idea of getting a remix or something. You know?
Yeah, Ender's Game is such a good book, and to have it slaughtered on the silver screen was so devastating. And it's not even like the casting was like they could have made that movie fine. They just absolutely, the script and the directing just threw it in the trash.
Who directed the Ender's Game movie? Let me see here. Why do I feel like it's going to be someone who's actually pretty good usually? Gavin Hood? What has he directed?
Ender's Game.
It's just Ender's Game.
And Artemis Fowl.
I mean, he's not really known for that many. These are ones where he's acted in. He's an actor too. Jeez Louise. All right, makes sense. He directed X-Men Origins Wolverine.
There you go.
So I don't know why they were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's give it to Gavin Hood.
That one just seems so crazy to me because it's such a prized sci-fi novel to have it like thrown at someone that just didn't know what they were doing and not have the budget was just wild to have happen. It'd be like literally if someone read like 2001 Space Odyssey and gave it to like a nobody. It just doesn't really make sense for a studio to do. Like you want those big marketing names and all that. And it just seems crazy that they didn't do that.
Yeah. Very, very odd for sure. Although it's probably during the time period where it's like, what other young adult novels can we bring to the screen like Twilight?
Totally.
Like, they did a movie based on The Giver, which is a great book.
Great book.
But the movie was horrible because they made it into like a Twilight-like mess. So
it was during that era of like pump it out. We just need more young love, romance, action movie.
Conspiracy theory. Do you think it is the publishers of the books are like, we need to get some renewed interest in these because if we don't sell enough of them next year, we lose the rights?
Probably. I'm sure all that stuff's in play.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, that sounds so much more malicious than it actually is, probably. But anyhow, well, that's going to bring us to an end for this week, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you check out our brand new show, Real Watchers Movie Club, premiering every Friday around 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Check it out.
And make sure you check out our upcoming content on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Very excited for that. Should be hopefully within the next week or two. We'll see if I get to it. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. And until next time, keep your eyes on the screen. Have a good one.